Very exciting and very different in that we had a law firm client that had always rented, and they wanted to build a building, own a building, and then they had this really unique requirement that one of the partners wanted to live in the building on the top floor.
We really run a different type of law firm. We're not what anyone would say a normal law firm with regard to kind of what you think of when you think of lawyers. It was really important to us. We have this great room. We kind of called it the great room, and it has a full kitchen, and then it kind of leads into this living room area with a fireplace and overlooks our pond. And we gather there. We do a thing that the attorneys call brain trust, where we'll get together and, hey, I have this issue that came up in my case, and we'll kind of brainstorm.
So I think the biggest challenge of any project is coordinating the wants and the desires of architects, along with the expectations of owners and the reality of construction.
We were brought on board at an early stage, which we encourage every owner to do at the pre-construction phase, where we can give advice on budget to try to keep the design aimed toward a dollar figure.
Early on in a project, from our position, we go through what's called a pullback phase. And in that phase, we're trying to fully identify the vision for the project before you run off and draw a bunch of pretty pictures. And as a contractor, and Hanson came on very early in the project, which is really nice. But there's this sort of this moment where light bulbs go off, and the client, contractor, everybody gets the vision, they understand the goals.
Well, the overall design had to blend two different components together with residential and commercial.
So many materials came together to make a cohesive look. Was challenging, but also I think the most beautiful part of the building.
The exterior Cedar rain screen system, we did, in my opinion, a Class A system. Hanson was adamant that they wanted to do what's called a liquid applied weather barrier as opposed to a paper type or Tyvek type weather barrier. And we have just a beautiful cedar system, and throughout town we hear other people wanting it. And
so you've got stone and drywall and storefront and metal and wood, in some places all coming together to meet and making a cohesive look. I think was exciting and challenging, but really made this project stand out.
We had a fantastic client that trusted Hanson, trusted Slingshot, and I think we all delivered for them. They're very happy.
I think anytime you're building something, there's a lot that can go wrong. And the feelings that Paige and I have towards Hanson, and particularly Jason and Jeremy, I mean, they're our friends, and they are really almost like our family at this point. And so it's been really awesome to have this beautiful space to come to work in every day, and the eternal thanks and gratitude I have for this beautiful space that they were able to do with our budget. They were just amazing, and I think anyone who uses Hanson is in great hands.
This project was a design build project for a nonprofit organization, which is something that can be very difficult to do, but it's very rewarding because it's not just a facility for general people to use. This facility is going to help build skills and give confidence to the Girl Scouts, which are our future leaders.
This is our Girl Scout camp where we serve about 16,000 girls and Girl Scouts. This unbelievable lodge where our girls will come and they will eat, and they'll have an opportunity to meet one another and gather.
Bunk rooms for the girls that had fireplaces in them, kitchen areas.
The most remarkable thing about this was the teamwork between about 13 different contractors, all being governed by Russell.
We were out in the middle of the timber. There was no internet. Half the time I would have to drive down to the hard road to even get service and get email.
Biggest challenge was the weather and the getting the footings and the floor in before the winter set in.
The mud, we did this project during the winter from the fall, and we had rain and mud up to our ears, it seemed like. So to come in here to virgin soil where we cleared a bunch of timber out and build this Girl Scout lodge, a 15,000 square foot lodge.
We had to move the building as a cost savings item, so we had to tear down approximately 500 trees. And in doing so, we reused the wood for various areas around the camp, but also we were able to reuse the wood for all of the mantles on the fireplaces.
Panelizing the building, because of the short timeline and we were building through the winter, we had to panelize the building to get it up more quickly and to get it enclosed in order to get the floors down so that we can meet the schedule and the budget and the timeline on this project.
They got it done in 9 months, and we were going to open the doors in May, whether the doors were on this building or not, because our girls were ready to come, and we had to stay in our timeline, and they made it happen. It was unbelievable.
The Girl Scouts planned this project for over 15 years, and they trusted us to come in here and give them a quality building on a tight budget with donor money that was really tight, and we wanted to, give them everything we could for the price and the budget and really knock it out of the park for them.
This has been a dream come true for the past 28 years. We definitely could not have done it without Russell.
It means that 16,000 girls, and more to come, will have an opportunity to build their courage and their confidence and their character, meet new friends. I truly believe that this wasn't a building. It really is a place that was a dream for Girl Scouts, and Russell helped us to make it become a reality.
The overall scope of the project was building a new nature center for Indian Creek Nature Center. It was a very sustainable building. Living Building Challenge was thrown at us.
In order to meet our mission as one of Iowa's only nonprofit nature centers and a leader in sustainability, we knew that we had to commit to a building program that was years ahead of where LEED was. And that's why we selected the Living Building Challenge.
A lot of the material, like in this room, the paneling is actually a barn that was torn down in the city of Marion. The volunteers for the Nature Center cleaned all these boards up and sandblasted them. And then we came in, they brought a big trailer load of it. And then we sorted through it, had it pre-finished, and then came and installed it. So this is all recycled lumber in this building.
So the Living Building Challenge really requires a lot of details about how we use and operate the building. So one of the very first requirements is net zero energy. So we are producing all of our energy on site through solar panels. And then we're also net zero water. Every piece of water that we use in this building comes from this site and stays on this site. In addition, all of the rainwater that falls on this property stays. We do not push anything into the ditches or the watershed to ensure that we have no negative environmental impact on the environment that surrounds us.
The incorporation of various materials that were living on site that were incorporated into the building. For example, the live edge trim.
They said they wanted a living edge, which meant one side was straight, but the other side had the branches coming off of it and that sort of thing.
Some of the panels, glass panels, have plants that were originally on site that were laminated into the glass panels.
One of the things that were very challenging to us, it wasn't just go out and get bids on any products you wanted. You had to keep track of where those products came from. They had to come from within a certain mile radius, and that proved to be very challenging in a few different areas.
The biggest challenge that we faced on this project was ultimately trying to do something that nobody had ever done before. The level of building requirements were not just something that we could hire a contractor for and say, go do this. We had to be at the table side by side with our designers and our contractors in order to find the right methods, the right materials that ultimately had a negative or a no negative impact on the environment.
The interaction of all team members, that being the owner, the architect, the designers, subcontractors, it just took a lot of teamwork.
Living Building Challenge obviously pushed the Indian Creek Nature Center forward, but we would not have been able to achieve our goals without having true relationships with both Ryan Rinderneck and the rest of the design team.